Hi, this is C-Max Solari. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching my last short film, which was all about my top tips to do with ethnography. I think I shared 3 of them last time. And then I asked you, if you like these, I will make some more, but only if you like them. So thank you to everybody who liked the last one. I mean, both of you. That was enough encouragement for me to make this one. And what I'm going to talk about today are rituals and routines. Now, rituals and routines are really interesting things to understand. Not just interesting, essential. They're critical to understand so that they can form the backbone of your observations and your thinking when it comes to observations of everyday life. Because you can split almost everything that happens that you see between a ritualized activity or an event and a routine-based activity in an event. Now, I know the difference between them, and I shall explain those in a second, but here's a list I found online on some website, The Motion Machine it's called, theemotionmachine.com, and they split rituals and routines as follows. So they talk about rituals as being about fully engaged events and activities. They're symbolic and meaningful. They're internally motivated, whatever that means. They tell a story, and there's a few other things, but actually that's not really a very good example. I think the best way of describing a ritual is that it's bigger than the sum of its parts. There is ceremony involved. Ceremony. I'll explain, I'll illustrate that in a second. Whereas routines, and what it says about routines actually is slightly more clearer here. Minimal engagement, meaningless activity, externally motivated, it's a duty, and you only focus on completing the task. So let me give you an example of a routine activity. Routine activity is putting my tie on every morning. I don't wear a tie, but if I did, doing my laces. Routine activity could be buttering my slice of toast and eating it, or opening my tub of ice cream and just putting some ice cream into a bowl. So any activity can be routine. Those same activities can become ritualized. Take the ice cream example. If I was to take my Haagen-Dazs and leave it to soften for 20 minutes, and then if I took the lid off my, my tub of little ice cream and I licked the lid, so you see how I'm creating ceremony around it. I'm creating steps. If somebody was to just give me my small tub of ice cream, already open, dumped onto a plate, they have removed all the ritual from it. They've removed stripped all the ceremony away from it, and it's not as enjoyable. The Kit Kat is a great example. You use your thumb to cut through the foil, you snap it, the sound. There are steps. Now, the reason why rituals are so important is because they are sticky, they stick. We become emotionally attached to them. And a number of times clients have asked me, well, how can we build our product so that it becomes ritualized? Now, I've seen Mars bars, for example, the way people open them, the way they eat them, the way they leave them, the way they, for example, watching a soap opera and eating a bar of chocolate in a sort of indulgent state. And then the way they ritualize the consumption of it, the way they open the packet and leave it in there. There's lots of things, if you do observations of people eating Mars bars, that you can pick up on. Really, really interesting. But I think what's really, really important about that is that if you take that away, if you just give somebody a Mars bar on a plate, it destroys it. And the other thing is, if you were to leave a set of instructions on the Mars bar package saying, these are the different ways that you can consume our product, you've destroyed the ritual. Because the other key thing from my point of view about rituals is they have to be discovered. That's how you take ownership of them. And when they become yours, then you have this kind of high ground where you can show other people what you do. I know my kids have come back from school showing me tips and tricks they've learned with opening bottles of drink, for example, or the way they put pizza slices into their mouths without the pizza pouring off it. These are all kind of ritualized ways of consuming them and tricks that some kid has taken ownership of and then shared with everyone else. Really, really important. That's a ritual. And I think if you look for them, if you look at events, if you look at observations, you will start to be able to pull things out and split them between rituals and routines. And that's a really, really good starting point. That's a really good way of digging into your data, into your content. I remember, just as an off on the side story, we were doing some ethnographies. But actually, this doesn't have anything to do with ritual, but it's still quite good fun. Ice cream consumption with this brand was in decline. People were eating less and less ice cream, and this was in a tub in the freezer. And we spent loads of time in different markets with families, and what we realized was that this tub of ice cream, when it got to kind of a third of the way down, it froze in the freezer into a solid lump of ice. In other words, if you took it out, you'd have to wait 10 minutes to be able to put a spoon into it without bending it. The other thing was that this package became crumpled really quickly and really easily. What this created was the following. Somebody wants ice cream. They go to the freezer, open it up, and it's just too much hassle. So they want to go shopping and they want to buy ice cream, and they do an audit, they do a check of what's in their freezer and fridge, and they see a tub of ice cream. And because there's a third of an amount in there, they can't justify buying another one. And it's all crumpled in the back of the freezer, meshed in through ice and what have you with everything else. It was creating a cycle of non-purchase. People weren't buying it because it was there and there was enough in there to consume, and they didn't want to buy a fresh packet, but it was too hard to consume. And this is one of those observations that people can't tell you. You can't create a questionnaire to establish that. You have to do observations and then pull that out as a hypothesis to then go and test. I wouldn't do it with questions either. I would do it through more observations and co-discoveries. Listen, thanks for listening. If you like it, tell me and I'll do another one. So this was top tip number 4, rituals and routines, with a little bonus story on ice cream at the end. Thanks for watching.